We have Bringus making Beyblades into weapons, or we have old people talking about gooning. Which direction do you want to go? Which way, Western man? Also, these would be metal fight Beyblades as well, which is neat. I had a video pop my recommended as well. The Beyblades or the gooning? Oh, the gooning one.
So I recently got a hold of some Beyblades.
Yeah, really.
And these are the old school Beyblades. Well, okay, not the old school Beyblades. Those are all plastic and awful. These are the metal fight Beyblades. These are actually...
Yeah. We love metal. Okay, metal fight is where I first started watching Beyblade.
Pretty cool. And to launch these things, you've got these little dedicated launcher bits. You just stick it on the hooks and you let it rip, as they say. And if you got two of them, you can have a battle.
He does talk about this. I watched like the first minute of this. One of the things that really helps Beyblade become more popular, and this is the same thing that's helped Warhammer as well, 3D printing. Now, these companies have very different stances on 3D printing. One of them, they will send the military to your house for 3D printing. The other, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit whatsoever.
But to get them to really do anything, you need a stadium, which I have right here. And the stadium is cool because it's all concave.
Also, 3D printing is really big for the mini full drive. The what do you call it? What's fucking, what is it called in Yakuza? The pocket fighter, pocket racer, the race cars in Yakuza. Yeah, yeah, the Japanese company does not give a shit about 3D printing. They would much rather you, pocket circuit. That, like, for mini four-wheel drive, 3D printing is also really big because the tracks are super expensive. I would assume it's probably big with Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars as well, but there's a lot of consumer stuff in those spaces. With mini four-wheel drive, tracks are crazy expensive. The cars are like $20, but if you want to have a track like you would see in Yakuza, that would cost you like $1,000, right? Like, it's crazy. But there's a lot of 3D printing of these tracks as well, so you can do that and spend like, I don't know, $50.
They'll kind of just go in a circle. It depends on like the kind of tip and all that. Like the flat tips go a little faster. Watch this.
That would be an attack tip.
Look at that. That one's moving. Hold on. I'm going to incite some violence. And you know what? Beyblade is actually really fun. At least the old metal fight stuff that I know about. This was huge back when I was in like elementary to middle.
There was like, there's been a bunch of different like, different series of Beyblade, which creates some like fun weirdness in like tournament meta. Because the burst, like when you get into like the burst range, they behave entirely differently because burst... The burst Beyblades are intended to like break apart when you when one of them loses. So it like they don't really function together that well. Unlike, you know, the Yu-Gi-Oh meta where it's like there are some 30-year-old cards that still work in modern series. HMS Plastic Gem, Metal Fight, Burst, Beyblade. Yeah, I've not been following X. I'm not really sure what the deal with X is. They also made the metal ones with something at the edge that made it... Yeah.
That's cool. I still kind of remember all of the meta. Like this one right here, Gravity Destroyer. This dude is badass. This is some random one, Thermal Wolf, I believe. This is just kind of garbage. And I've even been playing with 3D printing some of my own parts. This dude, if I had access to 3D printing, I would have made so many Beyblade parts back in the day. That's all I would have done with a 3D printer. Let's see if we can really get a fight going here. Oh, jeez. Okay. So, you don't want that to happen. See, this guy's just too short. Too short for his own good.
I'm going to get munted. It's Friday.
Yeah, brother! Let's fucking go! No one here that is not Australia has any idea what munted means, and I don't want to explain it because it's way funnier.
Try this one, Pegasus something or other.
Ooh.
And there's so much that matters, like the launch angle and stuff. Whoa. Whoa, so it can actually be a pretty good game, especially if you got a buddy. It's really fun. But unfortunately, I have ruined this game for myself, and that's entirely because I built this. This is the
Those are gears. Those are gears. Righto. Okay, I see where this is going.
WMD launcher. There are different kinds of launchers in the Beyblade.
Oh, wait.
This is the WMD launcher. There are different.
Oh, there's a lot more going on in here than I thought there was. Okay. Right, I see how this is making them dangerous. Okay.
Different kinds of launchers in the Beyblade universe. There's the ripcord launcher, you saw that earlier. There's the
The funniest thing, is that a ripcord from a lawnmower? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm having a stroke. In the Beyblade, I think in the original Beyblade anime, there is a thing where they attached a bunch of the ripcords together to make a really long ripcord. Theoretically, like someone had tried to make it in real life, but it kind of gets stuck. There is a way to do it, but you have to like really, really heavily customize the ripcord to make it work. But you can make like a meter-long ripcord.
String launcher. This is technically a rev-up launcher, but it's been modified to just be a string launcher. There's launchers that can spin both right and left, and all this other crazy stuff.
Yeah. What was the main antagonist from Metal Fight? The guy that had the Beyblade that spanned backwards. El Drago. Yes, it was El Drago.
But the one I built, this one just makes the game unplayable. This is the pull starter for a lawnmower, and there is an intricate gear system.
Right. What is the gear ratio we're working with here?
System involved. If I remember correctly, the total mechanical advantage is like 12 to 1 mechanical advantage.
Stop it. 20 to 1. 20 to 1 sounds more right. This doesn't look like... I don't think this is... I'm seeing too many yeah, no, there's no way this is 12 to 1. It's got to... Yeah, 20 to 1 sounds closer to right.
Starter for a lawnmower, and there is an intricate gear system involved. If I remember correctly, the total mechanical advantage is like 12 to 1 mechanical advantage. Is that the right term? I'm taking a very slow input and making it very fast, and that's 12 to 1. And so let me just give you an example.
Stop it. Stop. Could be worse. You could be bringing, I did a thing in here, and he attaches it to a fucking angle grinder. He doesn't attach it to an angle grinder later in the video, does he? You could do that. That will hurt, though. In the, do you remember the video where I did a thing attached a machetes to a ceiling fan? That's what I'm thinking.
Here. The tip on this one is a little bit sharper, which means it doesn't move around as much. Here's with the normal ripcord launcher. Okay, decent amount of movement. This one's a little bit worn out. That's not bad. We'll switch over to the modified rev-up launcher with a string. This is more powerful.
Sure.
Good amount of movement there.
Okay.
And now we'll use the WMD. Excuse me, I need to stand up for this.
I don't like that sound.
Good amount of movement there. And now we'll use the WMD. Excuse me, I need to stand up for this. So...
Right.
Yeah, they hurt now. Just listen to this.
That's what a plane
Like,
sounds
there's so
like
much
overhead.
airflow coming off of that thing. Ow!
If you did this with burst beyblades, they would explode. Like they would actually. Let me just show you. Let me show you burst. Beyblade burst.
Let's do one last battle to end off Beyblade Burst.
Yeah, let's do a battle. Let's see if we can get an explosion here. Can we get a burst? No burst? There we go. Yeah, so the thing with burst is they would do this. They would explode, they would burst. If you did this with burst, they would immediately explode.
And there are some with rubber tips that have like really high friction with the stadium. These
Okay.
ones go really fast. Now they go irresponsibly fast.
It's just gone.
Fuck! I need to
Stop it
grabbing
with
them.
a bit of fucking paper or cardboard.
This is what I mean when I say I've ruined the game. So rubber tips functionally don't exist now.
Yeah, you gotta get a better stadium. This stadium's way too small for this.
Half of them just do this. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, that was cool.
Holy crap. Okay, this one just needs to be taller. We'll put a taller track on there.
Because their metal fight was mainly about
holy
ring
crap.
outs rather than bursting.
The dude left the stadium! Stop. So the game cannot be played, like I said earlier. Whoa, that is quick. But like, you can still do stuff. Oh, that was sick. My favorite thing to do is grabbing the ones with the most recoil and then playing those. Oh. Oh! I don't even know where that one went.
Straight in the
If
dome.
you're using this launcher, nobody wins, but everybody will get hurt. And that has to count for something. Oh, that was a sick knockout. I like to call this one the trumpets of hell, because that's where you'll end up when this thing pops out of the stadium and fucking kills you.
Aha!
Little aggressive, that one. Oh! It's terrifying! It's scary! They're so scary. Oh, jeez, man! Oh, did that crack my monitor? I'm surprised they aren't breaking. Like, you can see the battle
They're metal fight. Metal fight will never break.
scars, especially on these painted ones, but they're not like chipping off. Man, these have taken some damage. So here it is. The WMD launcher.
Metal
I'm gonna put
Fight's
like a little
indestructible.
tutorial together or something in the 3D printed files, and then where you can buy this lawnmower starter if you want to make this thing. But I sincerely hope you don't. Jeez! All right, so to put this thing together, you will need
Oh no.
one of these, various M2 screws, various small washers, and various M3 screws. Also some of these little heat set brass inserts and a way to put them in. A soldering iron works great. And a little bit of silicone grease. I mean, any grease will do. I just like this one. And that's it for the hardware, but you'll also need to sacrifice one of your Beyblade launchers. It doesn't really matter which one. All we need is this piece. Not to mention, you will also need all of the 3D printed parts, and there will be links to everything you see before you in the description. If you don't have a 3D printer, there's actually some services that you can send the 3D print files and they can print them out for you.
I don't know about you guys, but in a lot of places, there actually are, like, a lot of local libraries will have 3D printing. And I know you've probably never gone to a library, but it's entirely possible that, like, your library does.
There's ones like Shapeways, PCB Way can do it, or just ask your uncle with a 3D printer. That works too.
Or do that.
All right, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is take off the launcher piece. All we need are the little hooks. We don't need any of the stuff in here. We don't even need this screw.
Wait, are they just... Hold up.
All we need are the...
Are they just held together with Phillips head screws?
The first thing you're going to want to do is take off the launcher piece. All we need are the little hooks. We don't need any of...
I think they're just held together with Phillips heads. Wait, that's actually crazy.
Stuff in here.
Yeah, no, those aren't hex screws. Wow. Okay, sure. Respect.
Here, we don't even need this screw.
I never had Beyblades as a kid. The center screw is different? No, that's the center screw. That's a Phillips head. It hasn't got the pole in the center, so it's not security Phillips head either. It's just regular Phillips head. Wow. That's awesome.
So put those aside and just hold on to this guy. Now we're going to take the big plate piece and we're going to put in 4 heat set inserts. And it technically doesn't matter which side you put these in from, but I would recommend putting them in through the bottom, just because then it'll come out cleaner on this side, which is the side you're mating to the starter. So just take your soldering iron, stick it through right there, and just go ahead and slowly push it in.
Ooh, sensual.
Until it's just a little bit past flush. Right there. And that's what you want it to look like. So
Very
do that
sensual.
on all 4 corners. Now I want you to go ahead and grab the output shaft. All of these shafts should not be printed standing up like that. You're going to want to print them with one of the sides flat. You want the layers to build up going this way. And the reason for that is that they can shear from the torque of the launcher and they can split in half really easily if you print it going up and down like that. And this one is a little tricky, so you're going to need a little bit of support. You can see it came out a little bit scummy. But this one you also want to print like that. But anyway, this piece, take your insert, stick it right in the end. And now this one, you can't just push the soldering iron straight into it because it doesn't go deep enough. If you've
No, I would have taken one apart if I had one as a kid. I just never had Beyblades as a kid.
got the proper tool for this, you already know what to do. But if you're using a soldering iron, you'll just want to kind of do it like this. This takes longer to heat up, but this way you're not jamming the end of it straight into the print. All right, that looks pretty good. If you accidentally burn the print a little bit, that's no big deal. That's fine. Now you're going to want to take your 2 pillars and you're going to put a heat insert in both sides of both of them. All right, those are good to go. Next, we're going to use this piece right here. When printing this one, definitely print it in this orientation. You're going to have to put some support material in there, but that's all right. You want this to be as smooth as possible. So go ahead and put a couple of inserts in the back of this. And don't be like me and put the wrong size one in there. You got to use the ones that are less than 6 millimeters.
Ones.
And that'll do it for this part. In fact, that'll do it for all of the heat inserts. Now I want you to go ahead and grab the lawnmower starter. Very carefully take off this center screw. And the reason I say very carefully is because there is a very large spring in the back of this thing, and it has the potential to come out once this screw is out. So if I were you, I would hold on to the outer plastic here and then unscrew this. Now just take this inner plastic ring out. You should be okay to let go at this point. You'll have to just kind of feel it out. If it wants to come up on you, then don't let go. But mine seems like it's staying stable. Whatever you do, do not pull this in this state. It will actually just blow up on you. Okay, so now with that piece we just took out, you're going to want to take this washer out and then just transplant it to the piece that we just finished with. And this should already be kind of pre-greased, so you don't really need to put any more in. All right, and there you go. That is now in. And now this part can be kind of tricky because you really want that washer to stay in there, but now you got to flip it upside down Oh, see, it just fell out for me. So I'm gonna just pick it up, do it this way.
Yeah, just do it that way.
Okay, so once you get that on the spring there, you want to rotate the 3D printed part until the teeth of this nylon piece line up with the indent on the 3D printed part. So that's perfect right there. Go ahead and press it down. Take the screw, put it back in, and screw it back down. Make sure that you're mating with these indents correctly. You don't want the 3D print to be on top of it. But this looks good to me. So now what you're going to want to do is slowly turn this. We want to make sure that the screw is not turning with the rest of it. So pull a little bit to get it to turn.
Rip it!
Okay, it's not turning in that direction. And then go ahead and come back. It's not turning in that direction. So that looks good to me. All right, next step, go ahead and grab this piece, and we're just gonna install it on the starter, just like that. Now grab some of your M3 screws. I'm gonna be using M3 by 8mm screws for this, and then get those connected together. And don't over torque these because the heat inserts can come out if they're not inserted too great. Next, you're gonna want to take some cutters of some.
This is a thing that I would have loved to have spent more time on when I was younger, just like learning how to build stupid shit.
Kind. And we need to cut down this portion of the nylon plastic. You can just start right here and snip that off. And then you can snip that off. And we want to cut down this ridge a little bit. Oh, and that should be good enough. And then do it again on the other side.
What if you pirated a car and 3D printed it? That actually will be a future we live in eventually.
And that's perfect. Next, go ahead and take the large shaft. There's a couple of pins that you got to take out here. I think there's one on 2 of the corners. Okay. Actually, I'm going to change my mind a bit. Let's not put this in quite yet. Go ahead and grab the large output shaft ring and apply some grease to the top of it. Don't need a ton, just enough to get a decent coating on there. Now go ahead and put that on the shaft, and I want the greased side to be up, and then push it down to about like that. Now go ahead and grab your big gear and then slide that on. Now you're gonna want to grease the gear. You just need to put a couple of really big chunks in a couple of different spots, maybe like 4 or 5 of these, and then it'll spread itself around as it spins.
Is that how it
works?
works?
Once you've greased the big gear, go ahead and grab your smaller input shaft ring. Go ahead and grease one side of that as well. Now take the input shaft and flip it around like this, and make sure the greased side of the ring is up, and then put it on like that. Now we'll go ahead and take the body plate.
I love that this is a tutorial to
take
how to build a death trap.
And to get those installed. A couple of small M3 screws. All right, so now that the pillars are put in, now we can put this in. Make sure that all of the extra holes on the body plate are on the right side of it, and then make sure the polar on the starter is on the bottom left side of it. Once you're in that orientation, you can go ahead and put it on. And for that, I'm going to use some M3 by 10mm screws. You're probably going to have to put a washer on it as well so it doesn't sink into these holes. And then put the screws in on the starter end. Then once that is attached, we're going to go ahead and grease the inside of the hole on the body plate, the big one right here. But make sure not to get it into the pentagon-shaped hole. So just right along the edge. I also want you to grease the input shaft right where it meets the small ring. So all along it right there. And try and clean off some of the excess. We don't want too much of it on the shaft itself. Just in the corner. All right, now go ahead and install the input shaft. Now go ahead and grab the intermediate shaft and press the intermediate gear onto it. You want about an even amount of space on each side. Now go ahead and grab a M6 washer and add some grease to both sides of that. Take your washer, set it right there, and then grease another washer and put it on the other side. Go ahead and put some grease on each of the edges of the intermediate shaft on both sides. And then we can go ahead and put it into the body plate with the bigger gear facing up. Just like that. Now you're going to want to take the output shaft and slip a greased M6 washer onto it. And then put that into this piece. And then go ahead and grease right along the circular ridge on the output shaft. Then go ahead and install the cover, and then that will go on with some very small M2 screws. And these are just threading into the plastic, so be careful not to over torque them. Then we're going to take this piece that looks vaguely like the channel logo, and we're going to install that circle side up right onto the output shaft.
If you didn't grease
since the output shaft needs to be printed horizontally with support material and all that, it can be a little bit scummy, and you may need to trim it down just a tiny little bit to get it to fit. But you want to get it on there enough so that the output shaft and then the blue piece are just about flush
I don't know how
in
to
there.
build shit,
and
man.
then you want to take your launcher piece, but just note that it's going to be a little tough to get in there. But once that is on, you can secure it with another M3 screw. I think this is an M3x6, and make sure you put a washer on there. Now take another greased washer and stick that on that side, then install the small gear. And this can be kind of tough. I like to take a screwdriver with a changeable bit on
That is the most American screwdriver ever.
the end, and then just kind of, and then take the output shaft bushing and install that same way. And then another greased washer.
We're taking part, applying new grease once in a while. I don't know how long he's gonna keep this thing around for.
You should be able to install this top plate. Then secure it down with a couple more M3 screws. Make sure the 2 big gears got greased, by the way. That's really important. And that's it. Now you're gonna notice right off the bat here that it's a bit tight. And see, it doesn't even retract from... Oh. Okay, I guess it does retract. It just has a hard time sometimes. Like right now. And you know what? That is okay. Because there is kind of a break-in period with this thing. And the best way to break it in is really just to use it. If you want, you can also go back through and re-grease stuff if you think you didn't do a great job. But honestly, it just takes some time. And don't pull it too hard and too fast too early because you might actually melt some of the plastic parts. But yeah, the more you use it, the faster it'll get broken in. I love this thing. Thank you for watching.
Sure. Right. Okay. Yep. That's why you apply grease. I see. Otherwise, it would melt. The toxic Beyblade combo that forced an entire meta to change. I feel like I watched that in my own time. Wait, I'm sorry, what? That's how you lose a finger. No, do not attach that to the lawnmower. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that is how you lose at least a finger. Maybe an eye. I don't know what else you're gonna... Maybe a nut. Maybe if it bounces out and fucking hits you in the balls. No, do not do that.